I begin speaking, Wrath of the Jungle Tower Defense. This is the world we are stepping into right now. As I start this gameplay, what you are about to see is not just another casual tower defense experience. It is a strategic, competitive, fast-paced battle where every decision matters. I am choosing a role. I can either become the defender trying to protect the heart of the jungle, or I can become the attacker, leading waves of creatures pushing, pressuring, trying to break through. In this session, I want you to feel what it is like to stand inside this world making choices under pressure and watching how every tower, every placement, every unit affects the outcome. The interesting part, and the reason I think this game matters, is because what we are doing here is more than just entertainment. This game is built using the Paima engine, which means every input, every action, every move is recorded, stored, and lives permanently on chain. Imagine playing a match today and being able to return in a decade, restart, continue, or even watch old strategies again. That is exactly what this system offers. That idea changes the meaning of digital gaming. Instead of games disappearing once a company shuts down servers, this world, this jungle, becomes something that can survive independent and owned by time. Right now you are watching me load in. I select my preferences and I prepare for what is about to come. I want you to pay attention not only to the towers and creatures, but to the structure. This game is a direct confrontation, one mindset against another, someone trying to defend peace and someone trying to destroy it. It is almost poetic, one side trying to hold the line, the other refusing to stop. This is why I love showing this experience, because when you see it in motion, it stops being theory. It becomes real, tangible. You can watch tension form, you can feel urgency, and as you will soon see, you can lose everything in seconds if you are not thinking ahead. So as I walk you through this, imagine yourself making these choices. Would you protect or would you attack? Would you build for long term or would you strike immediately? This is Wrath of the Jungle Tower Defense. Welcome. I begin speaking every time I enter a match here. I remind myself what the real goal of this game is. It is not simply to win. It is to understand the mindset behind each role. When I choose to defend, my mission is to protect the jungle, to make sure nothing breaches my base and to survive. As a defender, I become an architect of survival. I place structures, I spend limited resources, and I need to think not just for this round, but for the next 10, because this game only lasts 10 rounds. Yet the consequences of each moment stack on top of the next. When I switch and I become the attacker, the philosophy changes. Here I am driven by pressure, I lead hordes, I send creatures, I try to overwhelm those towers. My vision as an attacker is not long-term. Endurance. It is about finding cracks, exploiting weaknesses, and coordinating timing so that everything hits right when the defender is not ready. It becomes a psychological duel, a test of who adapts, who anticipates, and who breaks. The vision behind this entire experience, at least how I see it, is that games like this can evolve. They are not meant to be disposable products that fade. Instead, this is a digital space that can live for decades because the mechanics, the matches, and even the history are preserved. I imagine someone, years from now, loading up this same map, rewatching strategies, learning from how others played, and continuing it without any company owning or controlling access. The purpose here is to show that a competitive skill-based strategic environment can exist inside decentralized architecture and still feel smooth, still feel alive, and still be fun. For me, that is what makes this unique tower defense is a well-known genre, but here the intention goes deeper. It is not only about towers and attacks, it is about the long term. It is about giving players a world that does not disappear and letting skill, not server, shutdown dates determine whether a game remains. So as I move forward in this gameplay, remember whether attacker or defender, every placement, every creature, every second contributes to something bigger, a digital history that never goes away. I begin speaking. Now that I am inside the match, you can start to see what makes this experience stand out. The first thing I notice every time is the choice between roles. I decide whether I want to defend, building, placing, trying to hold the line, or if I want to attack, sending wave after wave, forcing pressure and trying to breach. That choice changes the flow of the entire match. It is almost like stepping into a different game depending on what you select. As a defender, tower placement becomes everything I have, gold to spend per turn, and I need to allocate it wisely. When I place a tower, I am not just adding damage, I am shaping how the enemy will move, what direction they will take, how long they will survive, and whether my defense will stand. Upgrades also become crucial because with enough gold, I unlock abilities, more strength, more range, or more efficiency. All of this stacks, and I find myself constantly deciding, do I spread resources wide, or do I build one unstoppable defense? As the attacker, every creature I send, every timing choice becomes my weapon. I have to think like I am playing chess. I cannot simply throw units randomly. I coordinate, I time, I try to anticipate the defender so that when a weak spot appears, I strike and I strike hard. Then there is the environment, multiple maps each with its own layout, each affecting how towers function, how paths twist, how creatures reach their goal. These maps are not just visual variety, they change the match and force me to rethink my patterns. One more thing I appreciate is how accessible the entire experience is. I do not need a wallet, I do not need an NFT, I do not have to pay anything. I can load, click play, and I am inside. For someone new, that matters because it removes hesitation and lets people feel the thrill before ever thinking about anything else. And finally, the pacing. 10 rounds, that is all I get. Every round I feel the clock, I feel the game pushing me. I know I cannot stall, I cannot waste turns, I have to make decisions quickly or I lose. That tension, that countdown, that pressure is what transforms a simple match into something memorable. I begin speaking. Before I continue the gameplay, I want to slow down, look around, and talk about what is actually happening underneath this experience, because this game is not running like most games you may have played. What you are watching is built through the Paima engine, and that completely changes how the game lives, breathes, and continues. Every move, every action, every command I submit is written, secured, and kept permanently on chain. That means if I place a tower here or send an attacking wave, that input is not temporary, it is not disappearing, it becomes part of a permanent digital record. When I think about that, it transforms how I view this match, because I am not just playing in the moment. I am adding to a history, a timeline that can be revisited, studied, even replayed years from now. The way the backend works is also completely different from what most players are used to. Instead of relying on a centralized game server, the system uses what is called a game node, similar to how a blockchain node functions. If I run that node, I can pick up this game again at any moment. Even if every company involved disappeared, I could still launch Playview and continue. That idea alone is what makes this feel like a long-term, almost eternal digital world. Something else this engine allows is the existence of stateful NFTs. Even though this game does not require any NFT to play, the technology behind it supports the possibility of assets that change, evolve, and reflect your actions inside the game. If that concept becomes active in the future, it would mean an item, a unit, or a tower could carry your history the same way a sword in real life carries scratches, dents, and a story. When I enter a match, I can connect using a Cardano wallet, but I'm also able to connect through EVM wallets and through Astar or Polkadot. This makes the experience feel open, like a bridge between multiple blockchain communities. The game plans to support Algorand and possibly others, which means this system is not trying to lock anyone out. It is creating a doorway that many players can walk through. And the most important part, nothing I have said is theory. It is happening right here while I play, as I send creatures, as I build towers. Everything is captured and preserved. That is what Cardano brings into this world. It gives structure, longevity, and permanence. It allows a simple tower defense match to become a lasting shared digital memory, and that is something I rarely see in gaming. I begin speaking. As I play and as you watch, you might think this is just strategy, towers, attackers, and timing, but the real impact, the real value goes far beyond what is happening on the screen. I want to explain why, because this is the part that makes me believe this game matters. For me as a player, the value is immediate. I can jump in without a hurdle. No payment, no NFT, no barrier. I start, I learn, I experiment. Anyone can do the same. And that simple choice opens the door for more people to experience on-chain gaming without pressure. It is rare and it is refreshing. For the Web3 gaming space, the value is structural. It proves something. It shows that a game can be fully on-chain and still feel fluid, playable, and enjoyable. It challenges the idea that blockchain and gaming must feel complex. It shows that gameplay, not speculation, can be the center. For the Cardano ecosystem, this is where I think the impact becomes powerful. Cardano is often seen through the lens of finance or enterprise, but here it becomes a cultural platform, a place where entertainment, skill, and community expression can live and be preserved. The very fact that my match right now becomes a permanent record is a form of digital culture, a new type of memory that belongs to everyone. There is another dimension. When gameplay lives forever, players can return, analyze, improve, learn. They can study what worked, what failed. They can build tools, strategies, or even content around that information that transforms a simple 10-round match into something with potential, something that can create ripple effects. In a world where so many games disappear, shutting down when servers go offline, this game dares to ask, what if digital worlds did not die? What if everything we create, every win, every loss, every strategic moment remained, could be revisited, could inspire new players decades later? That question alone is enough to tell me this is more than a short-lived product. This is a concept, a philosophy, a new way to treat virtual worlds. And even if a match lasts only 10 rounds, its echo might last much longer. I begin speaking. As I continue moving through this match, let me bring you into the present state of the game, because everything you are seeing is not a prototype, it is not a concept, it is already fully playable. Right now I can simply visit the official page, click play, and I am instantly loading into gameplay. No setup, no installation, I am just in. Once I arrive, I have full control over how my session will unfold. I can create a lobby, choose if I want to be the attacker or the defender, select a map, choose how long a round lasts, and set the difficulty. All of that is already available, fully functioning right now. Inside the match, the game plays through a 10-round structure. If I am defending, I need to make sure no enemy reaches my base. If I am attacking, I only win if I break through before the final round ends. 10 rounds, that is the window for success or failure. What I cannot tell you because it is not specified is what features may be coming next. There is no public list of future maps, no mention of expansions, tournaments, seasonal content, or long-term feature plans. I only know what is in front of me. The game works, it is live, it can be played, and it stands as a functioning example of fully on-chain gameplay. That simplicity, strangely enough, is also what strengthens it. Because instead of promising the future, this experience is rooted in what exists now. A working, permanent competitive arena where every decision becomes part of digital history. So as I stand here watching my towers or commanding attackers, I am conscious that this moment right now is already part of something larger, a structure, a world that does not need a roadmap to justify itself because it is real, playable, and alive in this exact second. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and before I go, don't forget, if you'd like to receive a very short but value-packed email from me every Tuesday, you can sign up for the Cardano Gaming newsletter. Every Monday, I'll be sharing the latest from the Cardano Gaming ecosystem to help you make better decisions. So, if you don't want to miss out, just go to the link on the screen, leave me your email, and very soon I'll be in your inbox. That's all for today. I hope you have a great week.